Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. I hope you're all choosing to be versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. I hope that's what you're doing. If you are obsessed with getting what you want and thoroughly understanding everything there is to know about manifestation, then you and me are going to get along really, really good. And I would love for you to subscribe and come back and see me. And oh, yeah, in case you didn't know, my name's Kimberly. Feel free to call me Queen. Not just kidding, but not really. Anyway, as you can tell, if this format looks really, really weird to you, I know it's got my name at the bottom of the screen with all sorts of numbers about the date and time. It's because my coaching call schedule today is pretty tight, and this is the only time I'm going to be able to record a video and not edit it and just get it directly boom, boom, boom. That's why. Okay. That's why. And I know you've been seeing these type of videos a lot more than lately. It's just that my schedule's it's big, big. And I still do my own editing. So I haven't really been willing to lend that out just yet. Enough of all that. If you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, all of that information is in the drop box below. Maybe you want to join one of my channel memberships. Maybe you've been thinking about it. Well, I think you should. And I think you should join the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors group, because that's the group where we deep dive manifestation, where we learn and focus and read and chit chat all about manifestation to deepen our knowing, our understanding, to expand our awareness. So therefore, we're not stressing out over our 3D reality. And I just got to keep it real. These meetings have been on fire. We meet every single week, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do join the Advanced Manifestors group, you have access to all of the channel memberships, including the exclusive lives. The exclusive lives is where we talk only success stories or tips and tricks around manifestation. And we get together also on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. ish Eastern Standard Time. And then we have the hot seat / group coaching, which gets together on Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is a group where you can get into the hot seat and ask me anything. All groups are really, really good. They're really zhuzh filled, very encouraging, very, very encouraging. And maybe it's just a new belief we're all creating, but it seems like when people join these groups, they start experiencing movement in their 3D reality. And I'm not saying it's because you got to join my group in order to get movement. I'm just saying it just seems to happen. It just seems to happen. Maybe I'm the one with the belief, right? It's reflecting my reality. So if you are interested or have been thinking about joining a channel membership, I sincerely encourage you to join the Advanced Manifestors. Now, of course, in that group, we don't talk circumstances. It's strictly just manifestation as a whole that we're talking about and sharing our different perspectives. If you join that group, you also have access to all of the previous meetings to all 3 channel memberships with the recordings that are on the playlist of the channel. But only the Advanced Manifestors have access to all 3. Okay? Let's get into today's video. And we're going to be talking about something that we can be taking a look at or reining in. And it's truthfully kind of like the only thing we really ever have to do in order to manifest. And if you're not new to my channel, you've heard me say, I just make a decision. I decide who I am and I keep returning to it if I am to fall out. And that's not changing. That is all I really do. But the thing is every single one of us, all day long, all night long, we're running an inner dialogue all the time, inner dialogue. And sometimes we kind of forget that that's happening. If you're anything like me, you might just kind of have like a coming to reality moment where I'm realizing, oh my God, I am sitting here thinking shit, or I am sitting here totally focused on something else while maybe I'm staring at the TV, supposed to be watching the TV, but my mind is over here having another conversation, thinking about future events or thinking about past events and, how the conversations could have went and blah, blah, blah. It's always going, always. And really, it is those inner conversations that we're having. And again, yes, there is a technique called inner conversations where you do have an inner conversation with your specific person or anybody else in your 3D reality. Yes, that's a technique. But I'm talking about the overall inner dialogue that is going on all day long. Now, don't get stressed out. I'm not trying to tell you that you got to force yourself to think about what you're thinking about. That's not the message. But for some of you, because I get these type of questions all the time, it's Kim, I've been doing everything right. I've been making my decision. I've been in the state and blah, blah, blah. And it's never that I doubt those people. But a lot of us, especially when I first started manifesting, I was in a habit of letting this run amok. No control at all over my inner dialogue. Now, again, I'm also not talking about, trying to control every single thought that pops into our head. We don't control the thoughts that pop in. They just pop in. We control what we do with those thoughts. Side note, these are the videos that I don't edit. Don't have time to edit. So you're going to hear all the noises like Boop squeaking her toy. Boop is my dog, also known as my daughter. Just saying. Okay, here we are. Inner talking mirrors our imagination, and our imagination mirrors the state with which it is fused. If the state with which we are fused is the cause of the phenomenon of our life, then we are relieved of the burden of wondering what to do. For we have no alternative but to identify ourselves with our aim. And inasmuch as the state with which we are identified mirrors itself in our inner speech, then to change the state with which we are fused, we must first change our inner talking. It is our inner conversations which make tomorrow's facts. Put off the former conversation, the old man which is corrupt, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Put on the new man, which is created in righteousness. Ephesians 4:22-24. Okay, let me Kim that down with you. That is obviously some Neville Goddard. Inner talking mirrors our imagination, and our imagination mirrors the state with which it is fused. So when we make a decision that we are a particular version of ourselves, like I make a decision that I am the version of self that is, you get to define what that is. I initially, as I was manifesting my relationship, I would decide that I am the version of myself that's in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. And it would just so happen that when I would make that decision, yeah, my mind would run off thinking about the relationship I was manifesting from the perspective, for me, from the perspective of who I was in the relationship and what I was experiencing, not necessarily putting a whole lot of focus on who the other person was, because I wanted a new version of my person. So when he's talking about that, our inner talking mirrors our imagination. If we are in a habit of allowing ourselves to sit and marinate about the past, let's say you're manifesting a specific person that you've already had some kind of entanglement with. So you've had experiences with your person, and you catch yourself sitting and having inner talk about the past, maybe some of the negative past. Maybe that person hurt your feelings. Maybe you found out that there was a third party. You keep thinking about the moment that you discovered that. You're sitting in it. You're not just thinking a thought in that moment. You're utilizing your imagination, and you are reimagining, reliving those moments. Again, we don't control the thoughts that come in our mind, so we can't be bashing ourselves because shitty thoughts come in, but we are in charge of what we do with the thoughts. So if we're allowing ourselves to sit and marinate and relive the past, we are imagining, we are choosing that state or that version of ourselves. So what are the conversations that are running in your mind? Now, again, I get it. We got to live in the 3D, right? We got to go to work, or we got to raise our kids, and fur babies are kids. We have other things going on in our life, so we still have to function in our 3D. So this is not me saying you need to be doing this 24/7. I'm saying be aware, though. Be aware of what inner talking is happening in our mind if you're still telling yourself that you doubt that you're going to be able to manifest the thing you're manifesting. And maybe you have some logical reasons why you think maybe your specific person isn't going to choose you, because you still aren't skinny enough, or you still aren't muscly enough. All the things, all your logical bullshit reasons why we think this might not work, or your person won't choose you, or the money will never come in. It's all inner talk. It's all inner talk. And what you're allowing to marinate in that inner talk is you using your imagination and therefore choosing your state of consciousness. Now, remember, whenever you hear me say version of self or new self, I'm referring to the state of the wish fulfilled, the version of you that has what you want, and it matters. But don't you see how powerful you are? That if you are someone that has found yourself consistently marinating in a place that is not favorable, that you have the power and authority because of who you are as pure, unadulterated consciousness. You have the authority to redirect yourself, to think differently, to marinate somewhere else. If you've been on my channel a while, then you will recognize shit fucker land. If you're new, shit fucker land is the land of all the shitty thoughts where our old selves would marinate and swimming in the pools of shit fucker land. That's a habit we're trying to break. That's a habit that we're trying to break free of. What's your inner talk? What do you catch yourself thinking about throughout your day? Is it something favorable to you and your manifestation? And if it's not, okay, we don't beat ourselves up for it, but we make a new decision. We get up and try again, per se. It's not really trying. See, you already are the who you want to be. You're just not aware of it. You are more than likely just really highly aware of what 3D reality is, or what it appears like to your probably very logical mind. And that's not doing us any favors. You see, whenever we look out in reality and we're judging it and we're deciding, and again, this is for anybody too who says, well, I don't see anything. I don't see any movement. Nothing's changing. Your reality is always changing because you are always changing, because you are reality. But the idea is to be aware. Be aware. Now, I know I get the question a lot. Well, Kim, I'm getting bombarded with negative thoughts. I know we want to control our thoughts. I know it would make this a shit ton easier, wouldn't it? But it would also be a shit ton easier if you would realize you don't have to be afraid of your thoughts. The thoughts that pop in are just thoughts. They're just thoughts. You give them power by deciding it's more. Now, I know certain thoughts don't feel good, and of course we want them to stop. But they don't feel good. because you're believing in them. And it's usually based in fear. Oh, I would say anything that doesn't make you feel good, any thought that doesn't make you feel good is based in fear, or you are applying logic to it. In my way of seeing how manifestation works, how reality works, how to get what you want, what has always worked for me is, number one, standing in conviction that I am a particular version of myself, but really trying to see myself outside of reality and trying to see the bigger picture only when I'm getting upset, only when 3D reality is trying to really grab my attention and I'm forgetting who I am. Which is why I say really manifestation is habit building and habit breaking, decision making. Now, some of us don't necessarily trust our own decisions, and that sucks. That used to be me too. But even through some of your shitty moments in your journey, you were still moving, changing, and reaching for a version of yourself, even if that doesn't make sense to you right now in this moment. Everything you're experiencing is molding, shaping, and helping you to become a version of yourself, to get into a state of consciousness so that you can have the life you want. But your perception just isn't allowing you to see it that way when you're feeling bad. And what is your perception? It's being seen through a filter from the state of consciousness you're in, or the version of self you're choosing. Do you see how everything is always centered around how you're thinking and perceiving? This can all sound a little unnerving, and I know this is why I'm really stressing, don't have to worry about being on top of every single thought of every single second of the day. That's never going to happen. You're not going to do that. Do you understand how many thoughts you have a day? A lot. The last thing I remember reading was something like over 60,000 thoughts a day. If it's my mind, I swear it's more like 120,000, just saying. So it's not about controlling every thought that comes in. It's about allowing yourself to do something different with them. It's you breaking through a habit. It's you deciding to change and breaking out of the habit of overly focusing and attaching yourself to every single experience and circumstance that unfolds. Sometimes we experience shitty things in reality, and it's so easy to perceive and see them logically, because that's our conditioning, to view reality logically. So easy to fall back into that thinking. You're breaking free of that. You're getting out of that habit. You're starting to see that everything really is working out for you. Everything really is working to your benefit. The steps are laid out right in front of you. I had a beautiful Hbic say in a coaching call with me yesterday that she came into the realization that God had put all of this in front of her. God had put manifestation in front of her. The steps are there. The steps are laid out right in front of us, what to do next to get what you want. But our logical, rational mind sometimes gets us to think we don't know what to do next. We're not even sure if we've been doing things right so far. That's your old thinking. That's your old thinking. You didn't find manifestation out of just no reason whatsoever, just for the hell of it. It was laid out in front of you. It's just you who needs to put it into practice. By put it into practice, stay aware. Stay aware. Oh, get down, ma'am. I can't edit that out. I'm so sorry. But you stay out of that garbage. She comes over here wanting kisses. You stay out of the garbage. Anyway. Put off the former conversation. The old man, which is corrupt. Put off the old conversation, the former conversation, the corrupt old man, your old self, the old state, the you that would more than likely have pretty regular inner talk that was negative, that was against your dreams and desires. Put it off. Decide to make a change. See it as, I'm not going to allow the negative to control me anymore. If you've read Vadim Zeland's reality transfer thing, I'm not going to let the pendulum take me in. I said in a video a few weeks back that it would actually really benefit you to look at reality and see it as a test to pass. If we give into reality, if we believe, again, this is if you have, shitty circumstances. If you believe those circumstances are in control, we're failing that test. But it's okay. You don't fail the class. You just get a do-over. You get to retake it and look at reality differently. You're in control. You're in control of who you are, what you're having conversations about in here, and out here reflects. 3D reflects. You don't like the reflection? What's always been my response to that? It's a manifestation of your old self. Okay, so what? It's still bringing you to your manifestation. I've said this before. There really is nothing to truly worry about. There really isn't. Stop all of the old mechanical negative inner talking and start a new positive and constructive inner speech from premises of fulfilled desire. Inner talking is the beginning, the sowing of the seeds of future action. To determine the action, you must consciously initiate and control your inner talking. Construct a sentence which implies the fulfillment of your aim, such as, I have a large, steady, dependable income, consistent with integrity and mutual benefit, or I am happily married, I am wanted, I am contributing to the good of the world, and repeat such a sentence over and over until you are inwardly affected by it. Our inner speech represents in various ways the world we live in. In the beginning was the Word, John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word. It's starting with this inner talk. That which ye sow, ye reap. See yonder fields. The sesamum was a sesamum. The corn was corn. The silence and the darkness knew. So is a man's fate born, the light of Asia. Ends run true to origins. Those that go searching for love only manifest their own lovelessness. And the loveless never find love. Only the loving find love. And they never have to seek for it. D.H. Lawrence. Man attracts what he is. The art of life is to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let things come to you, not to go after them or think they flee away, because they don't flee away. Everything you are experiencing is a direct reflection or a direct manifestation from a version of you. So right now we have this present moment to make a decision of who we want to be. My dog is making the decision to live her best life and play with all her toys really, really loud right now. That's her decision. She's living her best life. It's what you're doing in this present moment that matters. What's your inner talk? What was your inner talk right before you watched this video? Was it, this isn't working? I'm never going to get what I want. I hate my life. I'm so unhappy. Things never work out for me. Or was it, fuck this, I get what I want. I get what I want. My world is working for me. The world or reality bends, twists, and turns to please me. That's who I am. I am the self that's in the most loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. I am the self that is experiencing so much money. I don't know what to do with it all. That's my favorite one. I say that one a lot. I have everything I've ever wanted, and I've never been happier. I'm finally the me I've always wanted to be. Life is good. I see that life is changing. Every day I see evidence that things are moving and grooving for me. I love that I can push through circumstances and see through them as only somehow benefiting me. I am the me that is safe and secure to trust that all of this is working to bring me exactly what I want. It is safe for me to trust that I will have a happy life. It is safe for me to trust that this very moment, this right here, this present moment is me taking a new action, meaning it's me deciding for myself that I am my new self. And it's easier and easier for me to do it because I know that this present moment has the power to affect the next and the next and the next. I'm the change. I am being the change. It's consciously choosing to be different, to be a new self. I've had lots of videos on that lately. The last few videos are hitting on that. What's the inner talk? When you're at work, clicking away on your keyboard, where's your mind drift to? To the life you've always wanted, and you know that you are manifesting, that you already have it because creation is finished, or are you over here? Woe is me. Life has really sucked up until this minute. I'm so sick of how I don't see things the way, I don't have the life I want. I don't get the person I want. Never have enough money. Which direction do you veer to? See this as a challenge. We've been doing the I Am Source challenge, where we are choosing to set a timer to do nothing more than remind ourselves that we are source and that all of this out here is reflection and manifestation. To stay aware, the keeper, or Neville Goddard would say, the observer, observing ourselves so that we can harness the power that was given to us as a birthright and using it for our benefit instead of saying, I am whatever negative saying after that. Instead of claiming and affirming things that we don't want. Taking that birthright and using it to manifest the life you deserve. But it starts with our inner talk. It starts with the inner speech. You've heard me say the death to the old man, the old you. Well, it starts with your conscious decision to stop talking, stop marinating in old shit. No matter how justified you might be and how you were treated in a previous relationship, no matter how justified you are that, you got into an argument with someone else and they were dead ass wrong. No matter how justified you are, that what has happened to you was not fair. We're not telling you to, push those feelings down and ignore that. No, what we're saying is accept it, acknowledge it, it happened. But unless we're going to revise, which is always an option, and if we're not going to choose that option to revise, which is fine, then we're not going to marinate it because we know it was a reflection of our old beliefs. Don't got to beat ourselves up, but if we want change, we've got to be the change. And what good does it do to marinate in past, very not fun experiences or moments in our life, or what we're afraid regarding future moments in our life? It does us no good to sit and marinate in fear in shitfucker land. Manifesting doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to hem and haw and try and figure out what technique to use or what's the newest, bestest technique, the new fastest acting technique. Fuck them all. Techniques are just that, techniques. There is never going to be a technique that is, oh my God, this is the best one ever, and it's the one that works the fastest. No. It's your belief about the techniques that have that effect on a technique. You don't have to go searching for techniques anymore. You just got to start changing the inner talk. You're having an inner conversation with yourself all day long. So let's stay aware of it. If you're catching yourself having inner conversations with yourself, marinating about the life you don't want, there's a great indicator of where your dwelling state has been. So let's make the conscious decision to change that. Because believe it or not, we're on autopilot quite often. We want that state to change. We want that dwelling state to change. We really, really do. And we get it to change with our conscious thought to be new, to be different, to be in a new state or a new version of self, using your techniques. Manifestation is not difficult. It feels difficult, but it's not. All you have to do is start changing the inner talk. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow. And if you made it to the end of this video, why don't you let me know with a little purple heart down below? And let me just say, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video, because I know we definitely had interruptions in this one.